Good evening and welcome once again to another mentoring session. And tonight's session, let's talk about theoretical framework and conceptual framework. Now, as far as theoretical framework and conceptual frameworks are concerned, let us be reminded on our prerequisite uh, topics or session. No? So here, so far, we have two prerequisite sessions in the row. No? We have already discussed this in our previous mentoring sessions. Okay, so the first one is how to write thesis title. And the second one is how to write the statement of the problem. But don't worry, you can access that anytime using the link. And I will be posting or indicating the links just below this video. Now, this is our objective. The first objective is for us to differentiate theoretical and conceptual frameworks in terms of its structure, its design, or its usage or application. Now, there are basic concepts on uh, theoretical framework as far as theoretical framework is concerned. Okay, now the first concept here is theoretical framework is more structured in terms of component, and these components hold or support a theory no, of a research study. Like for example, you have your research study, you have your research title already, then all you need to have is to go about what specific uh, theoretical background of your study, okay, to make it good because it is important that your study is backed up with um, theoretical backgrounds. Okay. Second concept is it marks the study boundary that a researcher has to focus for the study. Now, as a theory, the root word is theory. As a theory, it is already in place. Now, you can already access all these theories in the library, in the books, no, in internet, in Google. So you can access all these theories. Now, the question is, as a researcher, are you obliged to get and include all these components now as far as theory is concerned to your study? Of course, the answer is it depends. Sometimes researchers doing his or her own study are not obliged to copy all the elements or the components of the theory. No, he might be just getting some of the variables or components of a particular theory to his or her study. So depending on the study. Now, it marks the study boundary. So that's what it means. Now, as an example here, we have here theory of marginal productivity, now popularized by J.B. Clark. Now, as I told you, a specific theory can be composed of different components or factors. Like, for example, when we talk about productivity, we cannot avoid to think about or consider about labor, capital, or land. Okay, so as to labor, now it is assumed now in this theory that without labor, productivity can be impossible. Without capital, the term productivity, okay, can't also be possible. Without land, no, productivity, no, in the terms of agricultural or whatever industries is this, land is also a very important component, as to measuring productivity. So theory of marginal productivity is actually a classical theory. Another example, no, popular example, is Kirkpatrick level of evaluation. Now, like for example, if we are going to use this theory on, for example, a training and development program or activity, and then we need to conduct study on this. So this particular theory provides us four now important factors or components. The first one is reaction level evaluation or assessment. So in here, we can assess the immediate reaction of the participants or respondents. No? How good is the training itself in general? How about the content? No? How about the content? Is it less? Is it enough? Is it more about the content? How about the venue, the food, the accommodation, and even the overall objectives I attain, uh, by the training? How about the speaker, okay, or resource speakers? Now, another is learning level of assessment or evaluation. So in here, we can assess, for example, to what extent the participant or employee attending the seminar have increased their learning in terms of knowledge, in terms of skills, no, uh, on that matter. And the next level is behavior effect evaluation. How the training program affect their behavior. Now, how can we assess behavior? For example, we will try to see the effect of training on their behavior in terms of work performance during workshop, during return demonstration, if the case may be, or even we can extend that also seeing change in behavior in uh, in their specific workplace, for example, how they perform their work after uh, having received uh, uh, trainings. And the last but not the least is assessing or evaluating the results. Um, Results is more on output. No, it's more on output. It's more on outcome. Now, if the scenario, for example, is this, what are the expected output required by the facilitator of the training during and after the training? Now, like for example, their outputs, their concrete outputs, now like a concrete plan or a concrete proposal or a concrete um, or anything that the facilitator requires them, to perform or to have as part of their output. Now we can also extend the term results at the level of the workplace. Now, how training and development program being participated by the employees now, where they learned, they changed their learning, they improved their learning, they changed their behavior, they improve their work performance, and how all of this translate to organizational goal, for example, to the achievement of an organizational goal. So we can also use the lens, on assessing results, at at an organizational uh, level. Okay, let's go to conceptual framework, and we have here two important concepts about conceptual framework. The first one is conceptual framework diagrams the concepts, and it is less structured compared to theoretical framework. Okay, since the identification of the components is being decided by the researcher. So as I told you, now a theoretical framework is already in place. No, is already in the book. No, we can download anytime we wanted. Now from different platforms like Google. No, we can download all of this. But as far as conceptual framework is concerned, no, being incorporated or included in your study, then you may just pick some of the factors or elements or components of that theoretical framework as your items, no, to be included in your conceptual framework. So it is your decision to think about which among those elements under a particular theory you are going to include in your study. It is also called conceptual or paradigm of the study. So or please don't be confused about conceptual paradigm and conceptual framework. Now we have here models. Now the first model that I am going to present here is input process output model. Now this is very popular. Now to make an appreciation about this model, I would like you to think about um, how uh, your shoes, a pair of shoes is being uh, done in the factory. No? So it went through um, various level like input, okay, the raw materials of uh, the shoes, like sole, like leather, etc. And then the process, how the shoe maker go about working or um, uh, doing not all the processes in the making of the shoes, and eventually the output is the concrete pair or pair of shoes. Okay, you may also think about how your favorite hamburger are being made. So it went through input, the ingredients, everything, and even the human labor input. Human factor is part of the input also, and everything, and then the process, how the making of hamburger at the kitchen, no, are being um, followed, processes, and then the output is the hamburger itself. Okay, so there. Now for this particular example, we have here survey observation as tool or tools in generating data, because here your data, no, for example, will be uh, uh, your input, and then all these data are being processed, not manipulated but processed. Okay, so the processing involves data generation, analysis, and interpretation, and the likes. And of course, as an output, you may go about your proposal, like training and development manual, no, as a proposal. Okay, so the result of the study will be your basis in proposing a training and development manual for your organization or for your office. Another popular model is the IVDV model. Now, IV stands for independent variable. So, as the word itself, independent variable. So, it seems like a kind of variable that can stand alone, no, without depending on other variable, no? Something like that. Now, the dependent variable on the right side, no, refers to variables that are dependent to other variables. For for this variable to move or to function, okay, it requires another variable, and basically um, dependent variables. Now, like for example, under independent variable is training of employees, no, as an example. So this is independent, no, because training of employees can stand alone, no, it can work. No? Training and development program for employees can happen. Now, on its right portion is the term, now under a dependent variable is the term employees performance. Now, obviously, um, employees performance can be taught like um, um, it is dependent on the kind of training programs being provided to employees. Now, if the company provides a quality, okay, needs based training program for the employees, eventually, no, it is our assumption that the performance of the employees will be improved. Okay, now on the other hand, if the training program is not a good training program, no, not based on needs, for example, okay, of the employees, eventually it is also our assumption that um, the training program cannot inspire, no, cannot provide positive effect as to the performance or improvement of the performance, no, of the employee, something like that. So IVDV. Now, under such variable, under independent and dependent variables are actually scores generated by the researchers. No? So there are two scores here now, um, uh, which the researcher can possibly or supposed to be comparing now uh, in the study or in his or her study. Is there a relationship between the two scores now under independent or training of employees and dependent variable employees performance? Is there uh, a relationship between the two variable? Okay, so something like that. Another correlational studies. Now, as I told you, um, if you have time, you can access now these topics we already discussed or presented in our previous sessions. How to write this is title and how to write a statement of the problem. So please check the link no or the links below for you to access those already uploaded videos in this channel. And of course, now our future sessions will be like sampling technique that is or appropriate to the study or to your study. So there are different sampling techniques, but we will be having during our future session, um, uh, which among which no, um, is the one appropriate for your study. We can also have probability and non-probability sampling. No? Topic. So please subscribe and click the notification bell for you to be notified when the said videos are already um, available in this channel. So these are my references. I would like to um have you here our or my book on academic research with practical statistics and thesis writing, no, published by Books at iba pa publishing company. And of course, one of our sources here is www.economicsdiscussion.net. So that ends our session for tonight, mentoring session on theoretical framework versus conceptual framework. So I hope this um, topic helps you as you work on your theoretical and conceptual framework. So, thank you so much and good evening once again. Stay safe. Thank you.